The two sisters save for years to buy their apartment, hoping for a peaceful life, but soon after moving in, strange noises from above begin tormenting Juhi. She tries blocking the sound and even records it with her camcorder, but scraping noises, flickering lights, and a shadowy figure on the balcony only make things worse. Moments later, Juhi mysteriously disappears. 4 days later, the police inform her sister Juang, who returns home to find the place in chaos, a warning note on the door, and no trace of Juhi. Remembering her sister's complaints, she visits Juhi's colleague Ki-hoon, who says she often asks him about strange sounds he can never hear. When Juang returns, she finds Juhi's switched-off phone at home, a bad sign since her sister never goes anywhere without it. As she plugs it in, a moldy patch on the floor catches her eye, and she is interrupted by the downstairs neighbor from 504, who angrily accuses them of making noise and threatens her when she insists no one has been home. After he leaves, a silent, long-haired woman appears at the end of the hallway, terrifying her. Once the phone finally powers on, she realizes she can't unlock it, leaving her with no clues and growing fear about what has happened to her sister. The next morning, Juang asks the building guard about Juhi and learns she last visits to complain about the noise. The guard also mentions that Jung-sim from 504 suffers from the same strange sounds and urges her to be understanding. Just as he hints at something unsettling about Unit 604, a resident reports a horrible smell from the basement. When they open it, an overpowering stench reveals nearly 10 years' worth of trash dumped there, a problem left unresolved because cleaning it would be too expensive. Please like the video before watching further. A few days later, Juang quits her job and moves back into the apartment to focus entirely on finding her sister. On her lonely birthday, she uses her sister's birth date to unlock Juhi's phone and discovers audio recordings filled with loud bangs, her sister's desperate complaints, and an eerie second voice she can't identify. Soon she hears what seems like whispers in her ear, and then her sister's voice calling from outside the door. But when she looks through the peephole, the figure has pitch-black eyes and isn't her sister at all. The scraping sound returns, followed by a piercing noise that overwhelms her, until she suddenly wakes up, unsure if any of it is real. Not long after, Ki-hoon visits and reveals he has been secretly dating Juhi for 6 months. Worried because she has also stopped contacting him, he joins Juang in searching for answers. At the district office, they learn that the previous tenant of Unit 604 also complained of strange noises and later died by suicide inside the apartment, leaving Juang horrified at the thought of living where such a thing happens. When they return home, another large note warns her to keep quiet, and she becomes certain Jung-sim from downstairs is responsible. While Ki-hoon prepares missing person posters, the police inform them there is no footage of Juhi leaving the building. Since her belongings are still at home, Juang suspects Jung-sim has trapped her sister inside his apartment, but the police can't investigate without evidence. Soon after, Jung-sim comes to the door. His behavior shifts when he sees Ki-hoon instead of Juang, yet he still tries to look inside before leaving, and later pulls out a hidden knife at his own door, clearly unstable. That evening, while putting up missing person posters, Juang sees a young boy staring into the basement window. When she checks too, Jung-in from 804 suddenly appears and warns her not to post flyers around the building because a redevelopment vote is approaching. Any rumors or unsettling news could ruin the approval and cause property prices to fall. Back home, Juang briefly dreams of her missing sister returning, only to wake from another nightmare. Still shaken, she spots a figure on the balcony and then sees Jung-sim trying to enter her apartment, but both vanish moments later. Meanwhile, Jung-sim, driven mad by the constant noise, roams the building in rage until he panics at something staring at him and accidentally falls to his death. The next morning, Juang sees his body and urges the police to check his apartment again for her sister, but they insist there is nothing suspicious and warn her not to make accusations without proof. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Soon after, the residence committee head scolds her for causing trouble and claims apartment 604 is cursed. Confused, Juang goes to Jung-in in 804, where she briefly sees a little girl. Jung-in explains that years ago, the woman in 704 constantly accuses her of making noise, and in retaliation, the woman bangs on the ceiling. The noise enrages the man living in 604, who storms into 704 and attacks her with a hammer. She survives long enough to pound on the walls and make unsettling grinding sounds, but the neighbors ignore everything as noise. After her death, the residents hide the truth to protect their redevelopment plans. After the attack years ago, the man from 604 disappears, and when Juhi asks about the noises from 704, Jung-in tells her the unit has been empty since the woman's death. Disturbed, Juhi returns home and finds another note on her door. But this time it is blank, and beneath it, someone has carved a bloody curse into the wood. The next day, she continues putting up flyers for her missing sister. During a redevelopment meeting, she spots one trampled underfoot and, overwhelmed with anger, grabs the microphone to shout that her sister has vanished inside the complex. The chairman argues with her until others intervene. Ki-hoon then arrives and reveals that surveillance never shows the former resident of 604 leaving the building, suggesting he might still be hidden somewhere. Immediately thinking of the foul-smelling basement, they go down to search. Among the piles of trash, Ki-hoon records with his camcorder and notices a shadow in a corner. When he shines his phone's light, he finds the body of the man from 604 lying on the ground. As he approaches to check if the man is alive, a piercing noise explodes in his ears, followed by the man's severed head rolling toward him. Juhi goes to find Ki-hoon, but the moment she sees him, she senses something is off. A painful shriek blasts through her hearing aid, and Ki-hoon's body suddenly convulses before he lunges at her and pins her down. His eyes are blank and violent, as if he is possessed. Desperate, she grabs a stone and hits him, escaping up the ladder as he clings to her leg, until the residence committee head appears and pulls her to safety. When she wakes up in the property office, her wounds are already treated. She is stunned to learn the committee head rescued her and alerted the police. As they talk, Juhi mentions she has only ever seen 2 children in the entire complex, the committee head's son and Jung-in's daughter. But the committee head looks baffled when she hears that. Juhi freezes as she realizes something is wrong, especially since she remembers seeing a little girl in Jung-in's apartment. A call from the police then informs her that Ki-hoon has died, and though she tells them about an iron door where she believes her sister might be trapped, they dismiss her claim, saying no such door exists and warning her not to go back inside. Ignoring them, she secretly enters the basement, finds her sister's camcorder, and discovers footage of Juhi entering Unit 804 filled with vibration machines, proving the noise is made by Jung-in, and unsettling clips of Jung-in speaking in her mother's voice to someone who isn't there, though no one else ever appears on the video. Juhi realizes too late how dangerous Jung-in is, and Jung-in attacks her, leaving her badly injured. Juhi hears a faint sound, discovers her dying sister, and tries to escape, but Jung-in blocks the exit with a hammer. Juhi shuts the iron door and hides Juhi before facing Jung-in alone. Jung-in then reveals she also killed the woman from 704, blaming her for constantly complaining about noise. Jung-in's daughter died in an accident after being sent downstairs to play, and Jung-in irrationally holds the neighbor responsible. Jung-in soon tries to kill Juhi, who runs and hides, removing her hearing aid to escape the unbearable noise. But Jung-in suddenly appears and strikes her from behind. As Jung-in prepares to finish her, the grinding sound returns, giving Juhi a chance to flee. When Jung-in begs for her life at the door, Juhi sees the terrifying eyes of the woman from 704 and slams the iron door shut. Jung-in pounds on it just like her previous victim, but the residents ignore it as ordinary noise. Juhi then escapes the basement with her sister. Days later, a new neighbor from 704 visits Juhi with gifts and promises to avoid making noise upstairs. Thanks for watching. Share this with your friends.